Well, welcome to another disc review with some altitude. We're up here at Bird's Nest, Colorado on a balmy day. The MVP Trail. This driver has been getting a lot of hype this season. Honestly, might be disc release of the year in a lot of people's opinion, and it is a fantastic driver. And we're going to compare that to a bunch of other 10 speeds. 10 speeds isn't like a class of disc that has a huge amount of molds in it. Interestingly enough, the Trail is the only disc that has the ratings of -1.1. Is it the truest, straightest, most consistent 10 speed? We'll see. And the closest to that is the Finish Line Era, which I believe is a -1, 1.5. And I've also got, so we're going to throw that together and we'll see. It had a pretty good hype when it came out. And
welcome to Editor Flash here in the studio. And this is going to be a neutral to stable 10-speed review. You'll notice this video is really long. I've got a lot of throws. This is such a cool class of discs and has gotten so much hype with the Trail and the Era. And unfortunately don't have Gorgon, but this is just such a good class of driver and so versatile that I wanted to have a ton of throws. And I wanted to do this format in general anyway, just because I feel like there's too many reviews where you just have a few holes of throwing and not enough comparison. Sometimes the holes aren't even exactly what you would throw the discs on and whatnot. So I'm gonna go, let's talk about the discs here a little bit, and I'm gonna give you some conclusions here up front. And at any point in time, you can check the timestamps and go straight to the throws if that's all you wanna see. They should all be labeled. There is a ton of holes and different types of throws. I would have had a little bit more forehands if I would have realized it earlier, but I lost a couple of discs and just ran out of weather. So let's talk about the discs for a little bit, and then I'll send you out to the throws again. But again, feel free to skip ahead and just get to the throwing if you want to do that. This range of discs is gotten so much hype, and especially this guy. And is it worth the hype? And the simple answer is yes. This disc is fantastic. You'll see I have some incredible throws. This is the one I've been bagging for the last few months. This is a special edition one. But you'll also notice I have fantastic throws with all of the discs. I think it's because, shout out to Broderick. After I'd done finishes, I was actually watching one of his videos, and he came to the same conclusion that I did, that this is just kind of an overlooked class of disc that's actually been around for a long time. Like there's the Beast, the Sapphire and Musket have been around for a while. It's in this review, even like the Aztec. But yeah, this is not a new class of discs, and it's not necessarily as overlooked as you think, because most of the pros throw this class of disc too. Like Simon and Gannon throw the PD. Niklas and throws the Nordic Phenom. Most of the Discraft guys throw the Onyx. So this is a very common speed of disc and used among the pros. Yes, those are the more stable versions, but for the average player and the average arm speed, like these slightly straighter and flippier ones are going to be kind of the similar thing, where they get good control out of it, and so you can because they just don't move quite as much as a faster driver, and you still get tons of distance on them, and they get a little bit more controllable flight. And if you have a slower arm speed, especially here at altitude, you can get a ton of extra distance and some really, really good flight paths with these, because they tend to be a little bit more forgiving. If you don't quite hit the angle right or hit the power right, you're still going to get really good solid flights out of them. In general, this might be the best class of disc for most players in general, for like a distance driver, and it's also something you can grow into, especially like here at altitude. Even as you get better, you can still utilize these for Hyzerflips, for tailwinds, for long turning drives, or even just to fill in specific distances and throwing at slower speeds. Like for me, there's a range of holes in about the 375, 380 to about 400 distance, where sometimes it can be a little bit hard to get really consistent with a driver, because I can't quite get there on a pure Hyzer, and when I try to throw it flat sometimes with a faster driver, if I don't hit the speed or the angle just right, they can have a little bit more harsher finish. So I can get to Hyzer quicker, or if I really push them too hard, I can go long now because I can throw, kind of get into that 450 range. So whereas these I can throw cleaner on like 85% power and still get a lot of distance and get right to that thing. And so creates like, when you throw in that kind of more consistent power range for your throw, you're going to have more consistent flights. And like I said, these discs tend to not move as much either as some of like flippier, faster drivers. Like I said, these are, this is just a fantastic class of discs. They forehand really well. I was actually really shocked how well they forehanded. I didn't expect this neutral of a disc to forehand really well, and especially with not as clean as my forehand was. And I don't have that much forehand power, like around 300 feet, but I was able to like get really consistent results out of these. They hold Hyzer. You can get a little bit of turn on them, and they don't really burn over that much. At being a 10-speed driver, they have the ability to absorb a little bit more torque and wobble. I actually ended up finding some really consistent, like 315-ish distance on my forehand with these discs. And now I love forehanding. They're pretty incredible. Really, really solid discs all around. You can use them for like drifting turns, forehands, flip ups, and for all arm speeds, but especially like if you have slower arm speed. That said, let's talk about the discs themselves a little bit. Well, let's start here with the Era. The Era was one of the earlier releases this year that got a little bit of hype, and people really liked it when it first came out. Designed by Drew Gibson. Really solid driver, feels good in the hand, has a nice bit of flip. Ended up being a little bit more on the flippier side for me. So if you want a little bit more turn with a little bit less harsh of a fade, I think the Era is really good. Very glidey, got a lot of distance with it. I don't have any other plastic options, so I haven't tried the composites or anything, but I'm sure you can find maybe a slight bit different set of stabilities in those, but really solid. Very good contender. You can see it flies really nice. And then we've got the Trail. I have my special edition. This is a new run. This is a little bit lighter weight. This one's a little bit flippier, and I have seen that online where some people are saying that the Trail is a little flippy. And I have noticed that the new run, anything I've bought recently, I bought a handful of like 3 of these recently, and they've all been a little bit flippier than what the first run. I had 2. I had this and a normal stock run Neutron, and they were both really consistent, maybe a little bit more, tiny bit more stable. This thing has never left the bag and almost never lets me down. I thought maybe it was the run or maybe it was the weight, but I also got one recently. Shout out to Distracted there at, I was in Utah at the fort, and I picked up a max weight one at 174 grams. It was nicely domey, and it felt a little flippier too. Granted, Utah is about 1,000 feet lower than here in Colorado, so it's hard to tell. I didn't have these with me to throw them side by side, and I threw it all over the fort and threw some incredible shots, and it was super reliable. So I might be a little biased. Like I said, I think overall this is the best of the bunch, and I believe in gyro. I feel like it really does work, especially here at altitude. It feels like when I get these on Hyzerflip, even the flippy one, they will flip up and hold really well. They'll push really well and fade more consistently. So I think if you get that spin, they really do hold up extremely well. And like I said, it could be a comfort thing or a mental bias or a placebo, but I had the most often good throws with these versus all the rest of the discs, and some incredible throws with them. So you'll see that. So I think it's hype, deserved the hype. It's probably going to stay in my bag as long as it can, unless I get sponsored by someone else. But I was also shocked at how good everything else was in this category. Again, like the Era was. Another one here is the Infinite Aztec. This was an iBlend one. Actually, it ended up being a little more stable than I thought, but still a lot of flip up, really fade, really nice push. And then we have this Splatter S with the incredible stamp on it. I love Splatter S. It feels really good, and this thing has a really nice bit of flip and turn and a little bit of fade and super glidey, tons of distance. This thing was the one that kept up with the distance-wise with the trails the most. And I had some just incredible throws with it. It is awesome. And then we have like the Halo one, which is more stable, quite a bit more stable, to the point where I can actually Anhyzer this and it will come back out of it. On the other ones, most of the time, if you're going to Annie them, they'll kind of tend to hold all the way into the ground. Whereas this is like really stable, more stable even than the Roman or the Musket. So nice thing about that is you have a ton of plastic options, and if you're not a fan of MVP or gyro or the the neutron plastic, now you have way more options, and this is such a good disc and kind of in that category. And along those lines also is like the Sapphire. This is a gold line Sapphire, which kind of shocked me. It's supposed to be a little flippier with the -2 1.5. This thing held up really good. I don't even know if I trusted it. I had an Opto one in the past that was a little flippier than this, I think, but I totally forgot that I had this. I wish I would have thrown this in the competition because this is an Ice Orbit one, and it is very domey, and I threw this out in the field a little bit, and this thing absolutely bombs, and it's really consistent, and it has a little more stability. This is like akin to the special edition trail, to the stock run, to where this gold line was, but this thing held up really good, and like I said, this has been around for a long time, so really quality disc there. And the Sapphire, and then we have the Construct. Feels really good in hand. This is ethereal and an ethos, and of course Thoth Base is awesome with their stamps, and they also have the aura, and you can kind of get different flights with these, some of them classics. And I have a theory, I don't know exactly how MVP's production goes, but I'm guessing that they probably 3D model and 3D print an initial mold and maybe make a full solid mold to get the shape they want, probably before they do the gyro design. And my guess is that this might be the original production of the trail before they look exceptionally similar in the wing design and the feel and everything. They both feel fantastic in the hand. Not too big, great rim size. Like, I love the way the MVP drivers, the thinness of them, the way they feel. And you'll see in the videos, they tend to fly almost the same. These are labeled a -1, 2. I don't really think I never really thought they were that stable. They felt more like the -1, 1 to me. Really solid flyers. Like I said, that's where I think the gyro might kick in a little bit, because sometimes they don't seem to come back as much or push quite as far. But overall, like on the majority of throws, they fly almost the same as the trails, and they're just as good, and it's a fantastic disc. Like I said, these kind of didn't get as much hype when it came out. I don't know why, maybe it's marketing or maybe it's not, but very, very solid disc. And this is the same thing, this is the Discmania TD, which was kind of their revamp of the TD. This is supposed to be a little bit more flippy at -2, 1, but I never really found it to be that flippy. It probably was the most squirrely. I did have a handful of throws that like burned over, and it was one of the one few that on the forehand kind of drifted over, but those could be, I'm not a robot, so it could be me, and form, I'm not perfect, but this, and I did burn over like one of the trails a few times too, so, it wasn't like anything, but this one did feel the least consistent. It was just hard to tell whether it was going to have a lot of flip or act really stable, but it still flew great and had some fantastic throws with it. It feels really good in the hand, and this is the only example of this I have, so I've never tried it in other plastics, so I can't really comment if it's that much different. Oh, and also the Musket. The Musket really impressed me too. I used to have one I used to throw, I used to love it, and I lost it, and I got this one, and it really held up to the numbers. I thought it might be a little more flippy than the numbers, but it really actually kind of held up to that kind of -0.5 fade, turn to fade, which put it on the more stable end of it, and it was like really reliable. I could really kind of crank on it hard. I could put a little angle on it, and I had maybe one of the best shots of the whole thing. I parked a 480-foot downhill shot with it and put it right under the pin, so that was really cool, and it's just an amazing disc. And similarly, we have the iBlend Roman. So the Roman is supposed to be a more stable version, but I threw the iBlend in one there because this is a lighter weight one. It's 168, and it does have quite a bit of turn to it and not a huge chunk of fade, and you'll see it as actually pretty close to these discs, and you can get this in a lot of different plastics, and they definitely get more and more stable as the weight goes up and the higher weight you get, but fairly similar to the Aztecs in some regards. And some of these discs, and I felt like it was a really put in this thing, and I had some great throws with this. I also parked that 480-foot hole with this. So yeah, it was on the more stable version. So if you like the trail and you want a more stable type of disc, you know, you've got like that Musket, this Roman, the Halo Aztec, and you can even go up from there. And I think I'm going to do another video on the more stable versions. So I'll have the Onyx and the Nordic Phenom and a few of those other more stable versions in there as well. But you can get the iBlend ones and certain runs of the Swirly S beat in to have really nice flip up and turn as well, with maybe a touch more stability at the end of the flight. So, and a lot of plastic options. So yeah, so there's kind of a quick rundown on the discs. These discs are just fantastic. So let's go out there and watch the throws, and you'll see for yourself. I have a lot of amazing throws with it, and I hope you enjoy this video. And like, subscribe, watch the next one, enjoy the throws. Peace.
Reaching for the trail more and more and more, and I tend to get great distance on it in general. And when I'm really not trying to push past like the edge of my limits, which is kind of in that 420-ish range, I can typically get these in with a little bit more control and consistency, especially if I'm not warmed up or if my body isn't feeling great on the day. Then the trail has just been such a consistent driver. So we're going to go ahead and launch one out here. We'll start off with the trail. This is the stock run, brand new, straight out of the box. Ooh, look at that thing. See, it flips up, turns, carries, but always comes back. And that's close. Not my longest throw ever, but for first throw, not too bad. But see, I got pretty good distance. Like, that's probably like edge of C2. I think I landed just past that little bush down there. Maybe a little bit too much height. Like I said, for the very first throw, it always takes me a handful of throws to get my arm speed up. But this is an ethereal construct. Oh, that's a much lower line, a little bit better. Similar flip up, similar fade, and kind of down on the edge of C2 there, a little bit more left. Very, very similar in flight. And that ethereal one is pretty straight. This is the Ethos or Proton. And this one's brand new. Hasn't been thrown, max weight. They have that nice little bit. Wow, that drifted quite a bit. But it's still fighting back. And right there with the trail. Very similar flight to the trail. All right, we're going to go with the finish line arrow. Look at that turn. Holds the turn quite a bit. Comes back. And right there with the construct, all about the same distance. They're all like in a line and very, very similar flights so far. I really like this Opto Musket. I've had there. It's nicely domey. This was like a really good controller driver for a while. This is not the one I used to throw. I picked this up, but I used to throw one. I used to love it. That similar flip up drift, fight back, very glidey, and right in the same spot. I'm very consistent. Put it that way. Now we'll try the flippier latitude driver. This is a gold line Sapphire. This should be a little bit flippier. Sapphires are usually a bit more flippy. Ooh, I got that on quite a bit of Hyzer. I think I've had at least that a little earlier with a little bit more Hyzer, but still similar flight. Flip up, drive, about the same distance. And this is a Discmania S-Line TD. And I think we've got, let me see, a little bit of wind, but I think it's slight left to right tail. Wow, it has way more turn. That went way right. Okay, so that's the only one that didn't really fight out of it so far. And then this is the trail I've been bagging. This is the special edition that came out. And it's interesting. I think it might be a little bit more stable because it's this kind of almost clear neutron. I don't know if there's like less dye in it or if it has a little bit of proton in it or whatever, but it feels like a little bit more domey. And it was always a little bit more stable, I think, than most trails. The stock ones that I've thrown, I have a couple stock ones. But it is beat in now because it's been in my bag for a couple months. But it's been like such a good driver. That. Look at that drift over. Flip up, drift over, push straight. And holy cow, that is parked. I am literally parked. That's my seasoned one out of my bag, and I'm about 60 past everything else and absolutely parked. Sometimes I wonder if your brain just feels one that's like in the bag that you're, even though it's the same disc, it's like, I know that one. I've been throwing it for months. And then we'll try the iBlend Roman here. Like I said, this should be more stable, but these iBlends, especially this older run, the Ronin, original Ronin run, is a little bit straighter. But you can see it still drifts quite a bit. And it's not even really fighting out. That was pretty low compared to the others, but it's right there with all the rest of them. So a similar distance. All right, back at Bird's Nest. I wanted to include the Aztecs here in this review. So you'll notice it's a different day. Trying to warm up here so I can give the Aztecs a shot on this. Similar, about similar, same temperature, no wind. Should be pretty good. Here we go. The iBlend Aztec. We'll that first. Stable. No turn. These iBlends are... Man, I need to like get into that iBlend. It seems to be holding up. Here's the Splatter S. I think this Splatter S one is actually less stable than that iBlend. Pretty flat. Good distance though. That's right there in circle one. Solid. And here is the halo. Need to give this a little angle. Yeah, see, I just a touch of Annie to get that to stay flat so it pushes. That might be parked. Oh! Skip ace on this hole would be really sick. I'm just going to go hex to the close basket for practice. Oh, look at that. Sit. Parked it. I'm playing it full round today, so that hex is my shot to the close basket. All right, let's go see how we did. You can see, like, there's the Roman, the initial trail. I mean, almost all these 10 speeds are like right here in a line. The air pushed pretty far, and there is. Oh, this wind just kicked up like crazy, but there is the other trail right behind the basket. Two birds here. I'm going to test some forehands. I'm going to throw my actual shots here first. We'll go backhand hex to the mock basket here to the right. Oh, and it's perfect. All right, and then I'll go fireball forehand. I usually fireball forehand to this closer basket, but we're going to see how the 10 speeds do. And right up there for putt. Now, the problem is with that is I always come up a little short. So if these 10 speeds are end up being reliable, I've been fairly impressed with how they handle forehand. So let's see if we can't get how these do on forehand. Start with the I-blend Roman here. Nice little drift. That's solid. It's actually a little deep. Okay. I can get these on a little more angle. Let's go with the splatter here. Splatter Aztec. That was the I-blend Aztec. Sorry, first one. So that's pretty good. And this is the Halo Aztec. Super stable. All right. Here is a stock trail. They do pretty well on a forehand. I keep expecting, like, I thought they might be too flippy, but they don't flatten out too much and they still come back. So fairly reliable here. Here's the ethereal construct. Ooh, that's good. Oh, deep on the backside. That's nice. All right, here is the gold line Sapphire. Oh, I got that at really high, but still kind of got there. Circle one for putt. Not bad. I'll go with the ethos construct. Ooh, that's really good. Nice. Inside the fireball, I think. All right, we'll try the TD here. See, even the TD doesn't really flatten out that much on a good Hyzer. It's up there. With the trail, special edition trail. Solid. Right there. Now the Musket. Oh yeah. All right, up there. A little bit short. Here with the I-blend Roman. Solid. Yeah, really good. Those forehand really good. I didn't even think about really forehanding them. I thought they might be too neutral, too flippy, but I started playing around with them and I was like, wow, they actually hold up pretty well. All right, so here's a couple of the Sapphire Trail, TD Trail, a little early. There's the I-blend Roman, Construct, Musket, all pretty good. Like, not quite as good as my Fireball. Obviously, I trust the Fireball a little bit more. Has a little more bite to it. This fission is nice and lightweight. But we got the Construct, the Ethereal Construct parked, and the I-blend Aztec also parked, got all the way up here, which I'm almost always short on this forehand. So really solid, really consistent. I'm pretty happy with that result. Okay, this is a alternate tee pad for hole 2 here at Sen10 that we play in a lot of the big tournaments. Again, you kind of got the OB stream far right. We kind of go downhill. There's this big branch. It's hard to see. So if you're going to swing, you can't really swing a pure Hyzer. You either got to Hyzerflip something or do a big forehand or like a drifting S shot. It's a little scary because you're kind of heading downhill. And like I said, you tend to get sucked in down to the hill into the water. Right now, it's kind of on the front left of the tree there, which puts it in a little bit more of a gettable position. I think it was 380 to the deeper right position. So this is probably like around in the 370-ish range. So another pretty good test for these. Right where I feel comfortable throwing this kind of range. We'll start with some of the more stable ones here. I can go a little flatter with the Musket. This Musket has been pretty impressive. So let's see if we can't kind of keep it going here. Oh, and that's so good. Look at that. See, so it does have some turn and hold, and I threw that pretty hard, and it kind of held the turn, and it was starting to flatten out, just a touch more height, and that is like absolutely parked. Here is the I-blend Roman. A little less turn on the I-blend. I basically threw that flat, and it just kind of stayed and hyzered at the end. That's about the angle I want to throw the majority of these on. With the finish line era. Oh, look at that. Hold the turn, go to the basket. Ooh, deep. That era flies nice. It seems to have a touch more turn than what the numbers say. It and the TD feel like, so far, feel like the most consistently, have the most consistent turn. Here's the TD. Look at that TD. And that TD was basically flat, and look at that nice drift. But it holds up. The TD, I don't know, the first few times I threw it was a little squirrely. Now it seems to be like holding up really well. All right, let's go with the constructs. Here's the ethereal construct. Ooh. Man, that thing didn't really come out of it. Needed a little bit more height. I threw it pretty hard, got pretty flat. You can see a nice turn and drift down the hill. It needed to be just a little bit higher, and I think it would have been pretty good, but it didn't act like it was stabling out. Again, I'm not perfect thrower here, so the angles are always a little bit hard to get exact the same every time. We'll go with the ethereal construct. Now when I get the right height on, and see, give it just enough height. Oh, and we parked it. That thing is parked. But those constructs are really nice. They drift, and like I said, I think the construct might have been the initial design for the trail. Like I said, I don't know MVP's whole design process, but my guess is they 3D model a full disc, and there's a good chance that they make that first, and then split that up into what will become the overmolded version. So we'll follow up those constructs here with the trails. Can't keep it going with the trails. Here's the stock neutron. Ooh, similar. That thing's not going to come out though. Yeah, that light one has got a little drifty, and I put that just a little too much angle. That 168 one stock one is got a good amount of turn to it. See if we can make the correction here with my special edition. Put it a little more smooth and a little bit earlier. There we go. Look at that, just flip up, turn, touch more height. You can see it was starting to flatten out at the end. Had it had the same height, it would have been right there kind of with the construct. Really solid. And then we got the gold line Sapphire. Oh, look at the Sapphire drift and come out. That Sapphire is flying great. I don't know, my expectations that was going to be a little flippy. I think that's my Sapphire. I haven't really thrown it very much. I've had it forever, but I swear I thrown another one that was not nearly as consistent as this. Granted, it was a long time ago, so my form just may have been absolute trash, because that thing is flying great. Now we'll do the Aztecs. I'll start with the Splatter S here. Oh, look at it come out of it. Really solid. It drifted quite a bit, but it did fade out. But man, it was long. I got a little extra power on that. That came out really clean. It's kind of cold, so some of those more gummier plastics are throwing a little better for me too. About the one thing I don't like about Neutron, it's not the greatest in the cold. Here's the I-blend. I gotta be a little more careful with this I-blend. Try to throw it a little smoother. Not quite as much power as it on that one. Ooh. Overdid it. It was a little too careful. that I-blend is flippier for sure. And I just didn't quite want to burn it over. But I think I can trust it a little more than that. That was probably my worst throw of the set here. See, I just need to not think about it and just throw it. And then we'll do the Halo Aztec. And see, the Halo Aztec is just a bit more stable. It doesn't want to turn a whole lot on its own. I need to give that a little more angle to get it to kind of drift to where I need it to. And the one construct that held over a little bit. The trail, the special edition trail, is just a little low, but it held up pretty good. And then, like I said, we got a few right in near bullseye, circle one, construct parked. Aztec went a little deep. That was a little glidey, and I think it rolled off the back of the tree a little bit. The TD was actually pretty good right on distance wise, and we really only had a couple misses. These stable ones got the I-blend Roman and the Halo were a little bit stable, and the other Aztec I just didn't throw very well. And then the other trail, which didn't really hold up on kind of not that great of a throw. But you can see they are a little flippy at times, especially like some of the lighter ones and some of the stock run Neutron. Like I said, I think this special edition came out a little bit more consistently stable than the rest of them. But it's funny though, because Lat gets a reputation for their stuff being really flippy, and so far both of these Latitude offerings are holding up really, really well. Oh, and we have the other, the Arrow was also deep, but a really solid throw on the Arrow. The Arrow is very glidey, and it is a great distance driver, I think, for a good arm. So we got this hole. It's in the shorter position, which I think is around 370. Also, it's kind of behind the tree. They're putting on it. And I'm also tempted to do a turnover, but we have a weird tailwind, so I think I'm just going to kind of go straight Hyzer here. And we'll kind of do a little bit of a Hyzerflip and see if we can't get like a decent fade out of all of these, so we can go to the right of the big tree and get them to fade back to the basket. Now, let's just kind of rip the Halo Aztec out here first, out flat, and kind of see what we're dealing with here in the tailwind. Yeah, see, pretty stable and in this tailwind, so I need to put a little bit harder on it and more angle. And we'll go with the Musket. This kind of slight uphill, we have to push these a lot harder. So I got to give these a little bit more power, and we'll see how they handle it. Here's the Musket. Get stable. Nice little finish. That's about basket high. I just didn't get it high enough to get a good finish. All right, we'll go with, well, it's still drying. We'll go with my Trail special edition here. See, like, look at that. That's actually probably like way deep. This is so consistent. Comes out of my hand so good. I'll try to do the exact same throw with the Era. You can see the Era will flip up as well. And a nice solid finish. Same flight, just a little shorter. And that's why I say, like, granted, that might have been just a touch nose up, but it just feels like the Trail always, when I need a little more distance, it just kind of seems to get there. And I think, like, here's the construct. Super consistent. Like I said, in this tailwind, these are flying great. That might be parked. And we'll go with the Splatter Aztec. That's still a nice flip up. Tiny bit more stable, but still in C1. The construct. Oh, that was way early. That was me, not the disc. All right, we'll go with the Sapphire here. A little bit higher, slightly more nose up, but still really good. Didn't push quite as far because of that slight more nose up angle. Got the TD here. See how the TD pushes. I can get this a little bit better. Oh, laser beam. I'm gonna hit the tree though. That just came out a little early. Go with the other trail. Same line, just too low, not enough height to get back left, but you can see it flip up and just cruise straight. That just came out slow. All right, and the guy blend Roman. Really solid. Very solid. Super consistent. They're all pretty super consistent in a tailwind, and honestly, probably one of the best tailwind drivers out there. I'm gonna, just for funsies, I'm gonna throw like a flippy driver since it's tailwind and see how it gets distance wise. This is a G-Star Faro here. And see, just like less flip up and really doesn't get you much extra in a tailwind. Granted, you can take advantage of tailwinds with flippier drivers and get further, but it just doesn't always work out. You know, this is probably my slightly flippier and slower time lapse, just to kind of compare here. So you get just a more pushy, straighter fight, a little straighter finish. So, but it doesn't really get much extra distance, right? And it doesn't always get the finish we want for this. You know, if we're going for a further target, yeah, maybe I can push a little harder, but all right, let's see what those were. Other than those three guys that I early released, the rest got up here pretty good. Got the Ethereal Construct. The Arrow was really good. We got the Roman and the Aztec. The Sapphire was on an inside line, and look, the Sapphire pushed farther than the Faro, so it kind of shows you, like in tailwind, it just doesn't really get you much extra. But even like the two trails, so there's the trail that was really low, and it still pushed up pretty far, kind of in the edges C2. These ones are a little straight. You can see the Musket outdrove my flippy time lapse. That Musket was really good, nice and glidey. Or like pin eye just a little wide right, and then weirdly, like I said, this trail just kind of pushes really good sometimes. It just seems that it happens with all of these discs on occasion, but like out of them all, it seems to happen most consistently with my trail, especially in the tailwinds and stuff. So again, it's probably could be just me being really comfortable with this guy. Maybe too dark, but we're gonna do a quick forehand test back to the car, and hopefully these show up. All right, we'll start with a trail. Not, you know, my buddy like forehands farther than I, and he forehands the trail quite a bit. He's sponsored by MVP and has good success with it. Haven't really tried to forehand that much. I'm always a little afraid just because my forehand's been not very clean and a little torquey, and when I try to get to a distance where I might use this, I'm a little bit more comfortable throwing something like a lighter weight fireball that's really stable. But we'll give this a go. We'll see what we can do here. Oh man, I can't even see the flight. Man, that was really good though. It flipped up. Okay, these are really good. I can't see the flight though. This freaking light is like right in my face. All right, we'll try to repeat that with the Aztec here. See if maybe I can see a lighter disc. Oh, I think that was really solid. Oh yeah. Wow. That flipped up really nice. I don't know if you can see these on film. I don't know if it's worth tossing. I'll get a couple more of the light colored ones. Do this construct. That was a little inside. Not bad though. Here's the Sapphire. If you have a slower forearm, these might be really good if you can get yourself to be clean. Gosh, I might even start forehanding these for distance. They're flying really good. All right, here's the Era. That looked really solid, then I lost it as soon as the light got on it. Oh my gosh. All right. I'm just rapid fire. Here's the construct. Oh, I torqued that over. Make a fight back. We'll see. Here's the TD. That did not fight out at all. All right, I'm getting sloppy. Here's Musket. Oh, that was nice. That actually came back. Yeah, makes more sense. The Musket's stable. Same with this Roman. Yeah, the Roman was pretty good. Here's the other Aztec. Ooh. All right. I can get a really good one with my go-to trail. Oh, if that beats the light, that might be really good. I can't see the finish. It might have been really good. That Halo one, solid. Just like the Musket. All right. Doubt those will work out, but we'll see. All right, Sapphire got down right here. See if I can find the rest. See if I had any that are pretty good. I see a few. All right, there's the Musket. And one of those other Aztec is here. There's a couple that came out early over there. I see. Oh, the trail was really good. My special edition trail in circle, and the other trail, my first trail, was right behind it. And then I got a couple of stable Aztec and Roman that came out a little early, and the construct that came out early. Okay, so here we are. This is hole 5 at Senton Park. The pin right now is right to the right. You can see I'm just finishing on it. It's only at 321, so not really the correct pin position for what I would throw here. But I think for a lot of normal people, it's a little bit slower arms. This would be a great driver for you that like you can hit on a slight bit of Anhyzer, and it'll just hold that whole way and get to that pin, and probably a great distance for a lot of people to use this kind of disc. I personally like it on this hole though. There are 2 longer positions that are over the sidewalk in that little grove back there, and there's one kind of to the left of the colorful tree and one to the right, and they are kind of both about 390 or so. Actually, I think the one to the right's 390. I think the one to the left is actually a little bit farther, like 400. But I like to throw like a very slight Hyzerflip. That's where these discs are so good, because they don't move off the line a little bit. You can throw them hard on a low line, and they'll just kind of push straight, and they'll kind of finish fairly straight. We get some cool colors coming in the background, but you can normally this, before the leaves are gone, makes this big canopy, so you got this kind of low ceiling. You can't really do a Hyzer or an Anhyzer or anything. You just got to kind of go straight. And to push a driver that far, sometimes you get a lot more left finish and skippier finish than you want. So I really like these discs. So we'll start off with the Aztec here. We do just kind of a slight Hyzerflip out at the tree with the still that has the leaves on it, and see if we can't kind of push out there on a nice straight Hyzerflip line. Very solid. And see, right, I got a pretty solid finish, little skippy finish, but pretty consistent. And I think I could push those a little bit harder to get that straighter finish. We'll do the splatter one. These Aztecs are really solid. And like I said, they're kind of underrated for this kind of same category as the trail here. Yeah, they just flip up flat, push straight, and finish right there. Very solid. Go with the trail. Oh, and look at that thing flip up and push. And even into the grove. That is really, really solid. Hope you can see that. We'll follow that with the Era. Oh, look at that flip up laser beam. And then nice, solid finish. Yeah, really good. And here's the Musket. So solid. Yeah, way down there. Perfect. With the TD here. Well, let's see. Look at that thing. Flip up straight, push. Back there and really solid. These are all going to be like really close. I mean, they're just very similar discs and very consistent. Ethereal construct. Yeah. Same flight. Look at that. Push straight, flip up, finish with a light fade. Super consistent. Here is the Gold Line Sapphire. Nice flip. Soft fade. Super consistent. Here's the Special Edition Trail. Look at that thing just flip up and push straight. And it just finishes a little straighter. I'm kind of cheating with that disc. I just... it just throws so good. I don't know. I'm laughing because I throw it the best every time. This is the Construct, the Ethos. That. I kind of held, didn't flip up too much. You know, like I said, I'm not a robot. Can't quite get these exact every time. Oh, too low. I tried to get that just a little flatter, maybe a touch of Annie, because it's a little more stable than the rest. I just got a little too low. I just tend to throw better with a little bit of a Hyzerflip too. I feel like the line is easier and the throw is easier to hit. Oh my gosh, this colors right now are insane. Hold on. That's wild. So pretty. All right, here's the iBlend Roman. Oh gosh. All right, scratch the Roman. That was utter misrelease. Total mistiming. And the Halo Aztec. There. I had to get that a little flatter, but super solid. Gosh, look at that. But see, that one flares a little bit. It's just a little more stable than I want for this shot. But if you're looking for a little more stable, like almost beating PD flight, those Halo Aztecs are pretty close. I might end up including that one when I do kind of like the more stable version of this test. I have a bunch that I'm going to do too. Man, this color's, the pinks just faded out. Now we're getting this kind of orange. Oh, it's so pretty. All right, let's kind of take a look at what we got and look at this consistency. All right, Construct, TD, Era. There's Sapphire, there's the other Construct. We got one Aztec, The Halo Aztec pushed really far on that big flare. But we got the trail is actually the closest one here to the far back. So the this pin I think is like a I don't know. I think this pin may double as it, or it may be like right in this little pit. I'm not sure, but I mean this thing just pushed super straight and gives me a look at it. And the other trail got close, kind of pushed up here along with the other Aztec. You know, they're both pin high with the one to the right. So if I would have aimed a little more right, a lot of these would be like right pin high. So you see these, here's the Aztec. The close pin is just on the other side. So they got the exact distance. I was just kind of aiming straight and a little bit to the right because I wanted to kind of see how far I could push to the left so I could see how far close I could push to this basket. That one's a little easier to get to. You can put a little bit more flatter and get a little more turn. And I birdied that in a tournament both times. So yeah, he's really good. Again, the trail wins, but everything else is pretty solid and pretty consistent. For whatever reason, I just pushed those trails just a tiny bit straighter. They just seem to have that little extra flip up when I need it. All four here at Birds. We got the mock is kind of straight, slightly to the right, 480. All right, we'll go with the Splatter Aztec. Ooh, that might be some wind out there. That had a nice little drift to it. Way down there. Go with the TD. And these are drifting, holding. Way down there. Alright, here's the Sapphire. Oh, too much. This hill, man, you get the angle wrong and it seems to just drag them down the hill. And these 10 speeds, it's hard to give them fourth. Oh man, recovering. Dang it. Here's the ethos construct. Oh, look at that. That thing is nice and skiff. A little short, but it's down there. But we got the right angle on that one finally. There's the I-blend Roman. The Romans are so reliable. A little more power. Oh, that might be parked. 480 downhill with the I-blend Roman. That's pretty sick. See, now I scripted. That's solid. Yeah. Well, that one around the mound. That was perfect. There's the Halo Aztec. Howdy. A little more angle, a little lower. Ooh, that's really good too. Oh, we flared around the mound. That might be in circle one. Musket. Musket. That glidey drift in the Musket. Come back. That might be deep. That might be deep with the Musket. The Musket's pretty impressive. Here's the stock trail. Oh, it's gonna get too much. That stock one is really got a lot of turn to it. Way down there, but way too much turn. I'm gonna let some people through. All right, hang on. We'll go with that special. Oh, too high. It keeps drifting. Oh, that's good. I just pulled up on it just a little bit. I mean, that's way down there, but all right. For Neutron Trail was pretty short. We've got the TD was kind of the left side of this mound. Construct, pretty good. But dude, we've got multiple park jobs. This is wild on this hole. All right, Hail Aztec in C1. The Musket was, and the Roman are absolute drop-ins. I've only tooed this hole like 3 times, and I had to make fairly long putts on most of them. That's pretty dope. Might have gone long on a couple. What else we got out here? That was like the first hole for a long time where the trails were basically the bad ones, the worst of the bunch, which is wild. So it does happen. They're not always perfect. All right, we got 390 close pin. Started off with my trusty trail. I think we got maybe a little crosswind. Pretty light wind today, which is rare for birds. Oh, if that comes back, that is so good. Parked it. Parked it. This is like the distance I want. Like 390 is like perfect for me for these 10 speeds. Like I can give them good, solid, comfortable, like 85-ish, 85 to 90% power, and they just get there. All right, here's the iBlend Roman. There we go. I got a nice flat release. 390 up on the hill in C1. Solid. These Aztecs are pretty money. This is a Splatter S-Blend. That Splatter one seems to have a little more turn because that came out on, and that's parked as well. That came out, I put it on a little bit early Hyzer to flat. Here's the Halo. See, and the Halo one just doesn't do the same flip, right? You can see the difference for sure. All right, stock trail. That stock trail, I have to give it a little more Hyzer release and get that nice flip up, and that's right inside C1, and then the iBlend Roman and get a little flatter. Oh, that was so early. You guys can play through if you want. Cool. We'll go with the TD. Oh yeah, that flipped, turned over, but slid up there kind of the edge of the slope. The slope kind of comes towards us, the little hill that it's on, to the right. So the right side of the hill is a little closer to us. That right side of the hill is probably like 375. Especially if you have like a slower arm speed. That thing is holding up really well. That thing flipped up. Oh, right there. 15 feet, 15, 20 feet, right in C1. That gold line Sapphire is kind of impressed me too. I expected that thing to be a little flippier. We'll go with the Ethos Construct. Some of these I don't know if you'll be able to see on film. It's kind of dark, but hopefully this camera's kind of impressed me in the dark. Oh yeah, look at that construct. Oh, that is tiny bit short, but dead on. Just a slight flip. All right, let's eat those construct. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Oh, I got a little bit of a flare on that one. But you can see, like, when I throw these smooth and on the right line, they tend to go between 380, 390 for me. I can push them a little harder. I can get up around the 400 with them pretty easily. And like, I can pretty much just high Hyzer This is G blend Faro where I can almost straight up hyzer these, but I'm gonna try to go kind of max distance here to the long pin. And yeah, see we're deep of the 390 pin, so there's a long pin out way out to the right. All right. Oh, trail parked, Aztec parked. Another trail right here. Another Aztec. Got a couple, the Halo Aztec right there that burnt just a little early, and the Sapphire, and then constructs back there. And then I burnt one construct just slightly over, but it's like pin high. It's a putt, so not too bad. And there's a construct, pretty good. Look at the Sapphire got right up here again. That Sapphire is kind of impressing. Oh, and the other construct is right up here on edge, C1. And then we got, I think the yellow G blend went way deep. Oh yeah. Oh, this yellow G blend. Dang, we're almost basket high with this yellow G blend. And we're, gosh, almost 50 deep of this pin. Not too bad, but not great because I think that not quite there. Get it out. All right. That's pretty solid. Just not quite getting. But it's not quite. Oh, lower. Dang, not the right angle, but not the right height. Shoot. The other Aztec. Probably the furthest so far. My trusty trail. Pretty solid. Alright, now a little more stable, boys. Stability at the end. Hold on, hold on pretty hard. Pretty solid. I don't know who won. We'll see. All right, it's a close call. The trail is a little off to the left. The Aztec about even, but we got the construct and the musket. I think the construct won. It's almost dead straight, and it is just about a foot farther than the musket. Ridiculous wind. Why not? So that's the funny thing is, like, top of the rocks of the upper tier for a second. Wow, was dope. Pushed pretty hard. I got the Sapphire up here, which is kind of my bet to be one of the longest ones. But the trail, and so that's funny. I got a 14 speed and a 10 speed, both in C1 here, and I think both of them were on the middle tier here for a brief second. I'm pretty sure both of them skipped on this early part and skipped off.